I met with a client recently who's been receiving management accounts from us for the last few months, but they've been struggling to get their team to engage with the numbers. Their complaint is that it seems to be that the team just doesn't care about whether the business makes profit or not. They're quite focused on doing the job that they're given, but are struggling to see the bigger picture. I'm going to talk to you about how we used management accounts to improve that. So, in business, it's difficult to get people to go on the journey with you sometimes. You've got your plan and you know where it needs to go, but you've then got your team around you, and getting them on board is difficult. They need to believe in the vision, but then they also need to help you get there. As the owner, it can be quite easy to say, well, I know how much profit I need to make, I know how much turnover I need to make, but getting that message through to others can be tricky. So I got a question for you. Is there anyone on your team who could be making a big difference to your profit, but doesn't seem to be aware or doesn't seem to care about the impact that they're having? Now, chances are it's not that they don't care, but maybe it's just something that's slightly bigger than they can get their head around. And what I found, and what this client that I'm talking to you about found, was that if they gave these team members, really important, really smart team members, a whole set of accounts, it just wasn't going in. They weren't able to take that information and use it to make a difference to their day-to-day job. They weren't able to connect the dots between the two. Every day I'm producing, I'm working hard, and this is the end result. We see this so often. The accounts are great, but more numbers is not always the same as better management accounts. For sure, you need to have the numbers there in the background because you need the detail in order to be sure that the summary numbers are correct. But what I find is that with most team members, it's great to give them one number that they can use to make the biggest difference to their job. And if you give one number to, say, 5 different key people in your team, each has a different number, all of the things that you need to keep an eye on will be covered over the 5 of them, but they all very clearly realize the part that they are supposed to be having an impact too. So here's another question. Can you think of those individuals who could be making a difference to your business? And can you identify one number that you need them to focus on? The number that best explains their purpose in your business. Once you've identified that number, I would suggest that you sit down with them, you explain it to them, and you see whether they agree and whether they can see how that one number is the most important thing for them to be focusing on. Once you're both in agreement on that, set a target for them. Set a target so that they know where you want them to be achieving. Then, after time has passed and you've produced management accounts, from those management accounts, get their one number and share it with them. They will then be able to see the difference that they have made. They will be able to judge their performance between the target you set and their actual results. And I bet you that they will then feel so much more engaged with the numbers, with the management accounts, to the extent that if you do this for a few months, you will probably find that they start asking for more numbers to better explain the one that you're giving them. Before long, they'll be delving into the full profit and loss to understand how the business is working that little bit better, because you've given them an easy way in, an easy way to start making a difference to the profit that you're making. I hope that thinking this through, maybe using it in practice with some of your team, will help you to make better use of the management accounts you're producing. If you have any more questions about how you can implement management accounts, or whether you'd like some help with summarizing the information and identifying that key number that can make a big difference, please do get in touch with me. I'd love to help.